Time for Live Now with Dr. Carmen Harra. The show offers profound wisdom, practical advice, daily exercises, and empowering predictions. And now, here's Dr. Carmen Harra.
Hello, everybody. Hello, and welcome. Welcome to another episode of Live Now on KMET Radio 1490. So excited to be with you every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific time. And with my wonderful producer, Justin, we are always ready, to communicate with you, to give you great information that you can benefit. And the show today is a show about thinking better, feeling better, harmonizing emotion for your good health. Now, we all know that good physical health begins with mental health. I put a lot of notes here because I want this show to be packed with great information. And I'm going to start by saying that it is a known fact that what you feel determines how you feel. So if you sometimes feel stressed, anxious, depressed, and doubtful, everything that is negative creeps in, and it's hard to stay positive and apply sometimes even logic. That's why under a lot of negative emotions, a lot of bad things happen. We even can commit a crime. So at this point, as I said, we lose control over our circumstances, and our health suffers as a result of this. But you can imagine what you think, and you can manage how you feel through your daily rituals, daily action that will put your mind at ease and get you back in your power. So that's why I want you to listen to the show today and even call in, because this is a calling show, and share with me your experiences. If you feel like you are down, you are anxious, you are depressed, you suffer from bipolar disorder, suffer from any form of panic attacks, everything that has to do with your mental state of being, feel free to call in 951-922-3532. This is a the calling number. So call in and we will talk to you about your situation, and we'll always find answers. Whenever you communicate, you calm down your mind, and immediately you see everything from a different perspective. So what I want you to count your blessing. I want you to be happy. I want you to feel in control. I want you to feel at ease. So that's the reason of my show. So the show today is actually, in fact, all about emotions. And as I said, I wrote down some of my notes so that I can keep them in order and give you as much information as possible. Now, our reality is influence is dictated by what we feel, and what we feel is what has a lot to do with the way we think. More so, there's some kind of an unbreakable link between a healthy mind, a healthy body, and consequently a happy life. You can't have one if you don't have the other. Your physical well-being is dependent on your mental clarity, on your tranquility. If you don't have mental clarity, your physical health has a lot to suffer. That's why I said so many times, and this is one of my quotes, what you feel determines how you feel, and emotion play a bigger role in physical health than you actually can imagine. Now, our ancestors knew a secret that we seem to have forgotten. So my grandmother, I'm going to give her as an example, lived 103 years old, and her mother 112. That seems like impossible. In those times, when I am absolutely convinced my grandmother and her mother, my grand-grandmother, they didn't see a doctor. Without doctors, without prescription, without surgeries. How? Because she lived a very, very simple, modest, quiet life. She eat natural food from her own background. And probably you say, well, we heard this. But what I want to add, and that's the most important piece of information, she actually had something that is called peace of mind. She was the most peaceful soul I've ever seen. If she stayed in a corner, I found her in the same corner 3 months later. She's she has that. It's like you look at a tree that lives hundreds of years. There's no need to move. There's no need of anything. I don't think my grandmother went to Zumba classes. I don't think she, how should I say, she even thought of taking any kind of a medication. I know she didn't. And for sure, I know she never had a cellular, drive a car, and so on and so forth. But she was a very peaceful soul. Because of the way she lived, it prolonged her life. Now, the question is, do you feel anxious and afraid in your life that something is wrong? Do you suddenly get hypertension, blurry vision, get migraines, ophthalmic migraines? Do you get all of that? Or do you feel like your emotions are out of control? Because that happens frequently with us. Like 1 second, you're just angry because something triggers that angry, a tiny thing that can trigger that. And so it's almost like you feel 1 second you're okay, then the next second you're not. If you say, yes, I kind of feel this way, then I can tell I have a lot to talk to you this hour. I want to reveal the permanent connection between your mind, your body, so that you understand how one will influence the other, and share with you tips on how to balance those two sides of your well-being. Is so significant. It's exactly like two sides of your brain that need to be in balance, be in harmony. It's a misconception that a healthy body equals a healthy self. Now, there is a Latin saying that I would love to quote today. It says the Latin phrase, anima sana in corpore sano, reminding us that the body is only one part of the totality of our being. Now, our emotions are equally significant factors in our well-being, and we don't seem to connect this. So being emotionally unbalanced and burdened can manifest in all kinds of physical problems, illnesses, diseases. So to achieve real health, then you must stabilize your thoughts. You must master those feelings, those emotions. Now, question comes, can we be addicted to emotions? Can we be addicted? Because we can be addicted to anything. But can you depend on a certain feeling every single day? The answer is yes. Every person, you listening, you are predisposed to certain emotion. You are predisposed to sort of specific emotions. So this tendency can grow worse if that person experiences only one type of emotion and enters a loop of negative feelings, which can happen. Now, the studies show that people who have been exposed to intense negativity during early life may develop addictions to negative behavior as adults, ironically, depending on them for emotional comfort. So what is actually addiction? Because I want to just explain a little bit more. Addiction is the state of being compulsively committed to a habit or to a practice or to something that is psychologically habit forming. It's exactly like a narcotic, to an extent that if you stop the narcotic or if you stop that particular habit that you are committed to, you feel like some kind of a trauma. Now, addiction comes about as a way to relieve comfort. A person might drink himself to sleep every night to forget that he lost somebody, to forget that he's in foreclosure, to forget that he has a disease. So it's almost like you want to drink your mind. In case of emotion, the response is a neurological pattern that releases strong feelings. Those people who are very, very obsessed with feeling a certain way, they end up living at the mercy of their emotion, unable to make important decisions when they need the most. Now, I want you to control emotion by determining what kind of emotion you experience. And this is an exercise I'm giving to you for quite a while, in which for 1 week, take a notebook and write down morning, afternoon, and evening the way you feel, and describe it. I feel upset, I feel angry, I feel pleased, I feel content, and go in details of your feelings, because the more you describe your feelings, the more you release them, and you will acknowledge in a frame of a week that there is a dominant emotion constantly resurfacing, and that's your number one emotion. Now, there's major emotions, like 4 major emotions: anger, hate, love, fear. So dominant emotions, and there's many, many others. Unfortunately, there are more negative emotions than positive emotions. Now, emotion can turn into addiction because of the chemistry of the brain. Now, within the brain exist nerve cells that are reaching out to other nerve cells every moment of the day. So your nerve cells in the brain reach out to other nerve cells. Over time, these nerve cells establish an alliance. They become friends. So your nerve cell becomes friends with the other nerve cells. So one group of nerve cells might form like a network on one side of the brain, while a different group of nerve cells might simultaneously connect on the other side of the brain. It's like 2 separate parties. It's like there's a house and there's one party playing in one side of a house. There's another party playing the other side of the house. So the distinct group of these 2 distinct groups, they stick together exactly like friends. They stick together as a party. But each cluster of nerve cells represent one emotion. For instance, take the concept of love. As I said, one of the number one emotion. Your notion of love is constructed upon the many incidents you've had with it. But it's impossible to dissociate the other emotion from the nerve cell that represents love. So the nerve cells in the group called love may have nerve cells from other group that mean disappointed because you've been disappointed in love, or sorrow, or hurt, or feeling pain when it comes to love because of a former partner. So that's why we say love hurts, and love hurts more than anything else. But then it intermingles with other groups of nerve cells. So the brain sorts every emotion and stores it into appropriate group of nerve cells. So why I'm explaining this like scientifically, something you probably never thought, something that has never been explained to you this way. But the more you experience a certain type of emotion, the more that group of nerve cells grows. So if you experience sadness, anger, hate, that group of cells will grow. Then it's almost like in a funny way, more attendees show up at that party. So ideally, we would help the nerve cell group called love to grow. But the truth is that most of us have group cells that are called anger, hate, fear, because we're more susceptible to that during the day. The worst part is that we become used to opening on those emotions. So if you're frustrated, I hear people telling me, I'm so frustrated every single day, constantly, even if things are perfect, you're still frustrated. Your brain is literally prepared to receive more and more of the so-called frustrated cells. So what is important to know is anticipate daily emotion and produce more particular nerve cells in preparation. So this becomes like a vicious circle that never ends. And all of a sudden, you ask yourself, since when did I become so frustrated over little things, insignificant things? Because your nerve cells are growing, fitting into that particular emotion. So it's similar to how a person has an eating disorder. It can break out of that eating disorder because it's a daily habit. It's a daily habit. So, and it's the same thing applies to people who are addicted to gambling, to all kinds of things, all kinds of things, from smoking to taking drugs and so on and so forth. And this is the way the compulsive disorder personality is formed. So our emotion too become addiction. So I want you to understand that we are the most, that the emotion are actually the most undetected form of addiction in the world today. So only if we make mindful efforts to mitigate our feelings, we can pacify their effects on our daily life. And it's very significant to do that. So for that reason, as I said, make sure you know what dominates. What are the feelings that your mind, feeds into your nerve cell, grow and kind of support. Um, we are made of emotion consisting of strength, weaknesses, inclination, predisposition, capacities, and all of these traits are conveyed, so we have all these characteristics about it, and they're all conveyed in emotion. That's why, if you think of somebody who's an artist, who's a singer, those people are very emotional. They convey their feelings and we resonate. How many times you've been crying listening to a beautiful song um, by Celine Dion? Or, there are those people who make you cry because they make you release certain feelings. But all those traits, as I said, of our personality are always conveyed in emotion and are constantly revealed to us. So what we feel indirectly translates in the way you feel. Your emotion become a factor in your overall health. So being emotionally unbalanced and burdened on a daily basis will lead to illnesses, to diseases. To achieve health and vibrate at your life path highest ability, you stabilize your thoughts and master your emotion. Now, I am one of those people who love to sing, to dance, to write, to do everything that is creative. What does this do to me? And that's why I'm doing it. And I'm trying to show everybody that that's what you should live your life, because then you balance out those negative emotions that they tend to creep in, and you bring in only the positive feelings. So that's so significant, so powerful. As I said, your mind controls every element of your being. In the brain of operation, literally in the way the brain operates, you can cope with physical pain if your mind helps you see beyond the pain. But let's say you broke a leg, you understand, and your mind understand this is temporary. And that's why the mind will heal. But how do you cope if your mind is in chaos? If your mind is totally out of the chemistry of the brain, completely out of balance? So then your brain is reasoning to shut down. And then with the real problem of our life begins. So overwhelming emotion, mental circumstances that are very difficult to control create the worst diseases. So there's also a logical aspect into it. If you respond with a problem with anxiety, with panic, with confusion, you won't be able to figure it out, so you won't have a resolution. So you won't be able to see beyond the challenge and understand the meaning, because there's a meaning sometimes in everything you experience. Actually, always there is a meaning. You will exacerbate the problem in the real world because you won't be able to make effective and efficient decisions. So to make an effective and efficient decision, you need to control all those feelings of depression, anxiety, isolation. The disharmony within so many people leads to asking what exactly is missing in those people's lives. Why are they experiencing such a turbulence they are actually creating? Because reality reflects all those thoughts that are projected in the mind. And here I want to tell you about an amazing book that I have for a while for like 4 years in my library of books, and it's written by Dawson Church, and he has actually followed by Joe Dispenza. And I don't plan always to make the publicity to anybody, but this is just a genius book. It's called Mind Over Matter. Mind Over Matter. It actually explains an explanation done by a brilliant scientist, Dawson Church, who shows us that every thought actually becomes your physical reality. And he shows it in a very scientific way. So Mind Over Matter. I recommend this book in case you question, why am I manifesting all the nonsense in my life? Why can I never be successful? Where is the explanation? There is an explanation. It's not in the outside world, it's in your inner world. Now I'm going to take a short break. And then I'm going to go and talk to you about how to manifest emotion and how your body reacts relatively to your emotional state of being. And then I'm also take your calls. I think I have Leilani, hold on the line. I'll be with you in a minute. I'll take a short break. So today I have a very interesting topic, and I ask you to call me if you want to speak about you and about the show today and experience, share with me your experiences. 951-922-3532. But you want to think better? You want to feel better? You want to harmonize emotions for your own good? This is the show that explains you how to do it. I'm going to give 2-3 more sentences of explaining something, and I'm going to take a call. So Leilani, hold on. I'll be with you in a second. So how you manifest emotion. Your body reacts to every emotional state. If you're sad, if you cry, if you're happy, if you smile, if you cry, you cry. If you're happy, you smile, you dance. But your body is doing more to externalize. It is producing something that is called a hormone that matches your emotion. You probably never thought this way, but it's actually very true. There are so many hormones in the brain. And it's not only the estrogen, testosterone, progesterone. There are tons of hormones in the brain, dopamine, epinephrine, and so on. I can name so many. I don't want to go there. I just want to tell you that there's a hormone to match emotions. There is a body-mind connection that becomes undeniable. So certain diseases, cancer, autoimmune, depression, diabetes, very well might be, and it's proven scientifically to originate from the emotion that you harbor within yourself. Our emotion push our free will to act in one way or another, impacting, like I think it really impacts the way we live, it impacts even our destiny. Now, your body responds to every emotion by creating, as I said, a chemical. And that chemical, the positive emotion, creates something you heard. The feel-good hormones. Negative emotion trigger dangerous chemicals. Now, dangerous chemicals invade your cell, and they have an adverse reaction. Your cells are reproducing at every second, and what contains within them reproduce and spread as well. So if your emotion manifests deep inside at the cellular level, which they do, the hypothalamus, the part of the brain that's responsible for producing chemical called neurohormones. So that's important to know. The hypothalamus produces a neurohormone to supplement every emotion. So there's a neurohormone for love. There's a neurohormone for bitterness. There's one for disgust. There's one for attraction. For absolutely everything you experience, there is a neurohormone produced by the hypothalamus. When you begin to feel a certain emotion, a part of the pituitary gland here sends its correspondent chemical into the bloodstream. And the chemical starts to travel through your body. So the cell, what do the cell have? They have receptors that welcome those chemicals. So if you hate somebody, the cells are saying, okay, give me that hate chemical. If you love somebody, the emotion generated by love will give you that love chemical. Emotion generated chemical alter your cell's environment, and they disrupt the very dynamic inside the cell. And the cell respond accordingly with what they receive. It's a hate chemical invading your cell by the negative dominant emotion. Your cells will feel those effects, and don't be surprised if they will cause a serious damage, and then don't be surprised if you will see one of those diseases happening. Now, cellular damage can result in mutating cells. It's not only a theory, but the theory of many medical experts that said that all the major diseases, cancer and so on, they can be explained by entering those cells being disrupted in their function. Exactly by the way I explained it can happen. So I can talk about it on and on and on, but don't forget, this is a calling show. This is, to me, a fascinating concept that I want you to know much more about it. And feel free to call in, because this is a calling show, and the number to call in is 951 area code 922-3532. I'm going to go to Leilani. Hi, lovely Leilani. Thank you for calling me.
Hi, Carmen. I was on mute. How are you? Good morning.
I love you, my beautiful friend. How are you, dear?
I'm good. This topic is so beautiful for what I'm going through right now. And,
Right.
you know, it's so fascinating. I healed my left knee in 2020 after tearing 3 ligaments, and I had to go within to look at what the knee was telling me.
Wow.
And now, the doctors wanted surgery, and I said, no, I can heal it. And I had to do some deep inner reflection, and that's what
Right.
I got from Spirit. You're not moving forward in life. You need to move forward. So that's when
Absolutely.
I took this, took this leap of faith. So, I'm healing my gut right now and my adrenals and my thyroid, and I know you told me to take bromelain and turmeric. I want to heal it from the root level, and I'm curious what emotions are causing this imbalance in my body system.
In your case, I think you're very insecure, not knowing exactly where you're going. So consequently, your life is on the go. You're in the air all the time, not knowing what's the next step you need. And you cannot live like this. You need to balance. You need to create that stability and that harmony in your brain. And I think that, as I said, your hypothalamus generates, those kind of neurohormones that produce those different chemicals. You, on the other hand, that are very positive, very caring, very optimistic.
Yes.
Thank God for that. You know what I mean? That keeps you going. But you need to heal emotions that are stored in the reactive side of the brain, in the subconscious mind, that come from your past, from previous experience, from family member connection, from failure in relationship in your family. And so over there, there's accumulation of, I hate to say that, of garbage that you need to, exactly like the lymph nodes that store all the garbage in the body,
Yes.
and they need to release it. You need to release. You have a lot of garbage that is not released. And if you release this, then immediately the first thing that you're going to see is balance and stability, primarily coming with your private life. If you bring in your private life somebody who's there, who will bring you, who will enforce your structure, your positivity, will give you the sense of stability, and stop this insecurity about tomorrow and the financial balance. You have so many skills, so many abilities. You need to bring them together, bring that significant other, and you will make a 180 turnaround in the right direction, and your life will be more than perfect and balanced and stable. You will see all of that happening. But work on releasing those emotions that are stored somewhere, and let them go.
Okay. Carmen, one of my weekly clients just pulled back. I don't know what's going on with him. I think he's afraid of the deep healing work we're doing. So I think his ego pulled him back. And I'm really upset about that, because that's a weekly income that I really need.
Mm-hmm. Well, here again, the fear, the insecurity. What if this guy is not? What if this client is not? No, you cannot afford that. Your mind has to manifest somebody else, or even more people like this. So the brain has the power through the thought to manifest. And I want you to read this book, because it's absolutely amazing. And I'm going to invite Dawson Church on my show. This book that is called Mind to Matter. It's like
I have that book.
You have it?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Mine.
It's 40 cents on Amazon on Kindle. So it's like almost you got it for free. But it's a revolutionary book to prove how you, Leilani, can turn your life around by implementing a new set of thoughts, about where you want to go, and what you want translating what you will actually see unfolding into your life. So there is a science. actually, if you take the law of attraction spiritually, work it and combine with the work of Dawson Church that is actually scientifically proving how the law of attraction works from the point of view of the science, then you got, every one of us gets their answers. So that's what I want you to work on yourself. And I think that your life is really going to move in the right direction very soon. You're almost there. I feel you're almost there.
Anything I need to know about this client stepping back, or should I just let it go?
I will, have you had a conversation with him?
Just a text message.
Mm-hmm.
I
Right. If you can try
here's
to
the thing, Carmen. I think I'm intuitive as well, and so
of course.
He's got some health stuff, and his guide showed me that his health is pretty serious because he's overweight. And I just said gently, your guides are showing me you're really overweight. You need to start looking at losing some of that weight. And it triggered him. Also, there's something non-addictive he's doing on his iPad, and I don't want to say it on the radio, but I just said, your guides are showing me there's something on the iPad you're doing that's not healthy. And then that's when he stepped back. So, yeah, maybe I was too forward.
You were, but that's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
That's perfectly fine. I will try one more communication. I will not give up so easily. And I will underline, be intuitive, because you're intuitive. Intuitively, you will know what to tell him to take away that fear that he has, and make him concentrate on the brighter side of working with you, because it's very significant for him to work with you. Very helpful. So take the fear he has in him away and implement again the positive energy that he's receiving by this work. And I think you can make it happen with him. But on the other hand, you will attract new clients like him. Bring them in so that you don't depend on one client. Your income doesn't depend on one person. You have numerous people reaching out to you. That's what I want you to make this affirmation. My business is thriving. Everybody's reaching out to me, and I am a source of inspiration. So make those affirmations for yourself on a daily basis. And I promise you, very shortly, you're going to see how many clients you will have. And when you're going to call me, you will tell him, Carmen, I can't survive this abundance. I don't know what to do. It's way too much. I feel it's overwhelming me. You go to the extreme, I don't know how I'm going to make it. So probably can't survive, not the right word. I don't know how to make with so many clients, how to cope with so many clients. You will be to the other extreme.
Okay, I want to start doing past life regression. I love that work, and I just need. So I had an idea.
A little bit of hypnotherapy. Did you learn hypnotherapy?
I learned past life regression, kind of like Dr. Brian.
Learn hypnotherapy. There are great courses of hypnotherapy in which you can be a professional hypnotherapist. You need that when you work regressing the mind and tapping into the subconscious mind. That person needs to be in a certain state of altered consciousness, so you need to learn some techniques from there.
Yes, I learned it in my past life regression school, but I can study even more if you think that'd be good. Okay, I know you have to go. Thank you, Carmen.
I love you, my Leilani.
I love you.
For
I'm
being
excited.
in my life and being part of my show. I love you, my dear.
Thank you.
And
I love
I'm going to take a 1 minute break, and I'm going to take my next caller. I don't know who's my next caller. I'm going to ask Justin. Okay, so in a second I'll be with you guys. Don't go anywhere. And I'm back on KMT Radio, number 2 calling 951-922-532. I'm Dr. Carmen Harra, talking about the role that emotions play in our life, to think better, harmonize emotions. We need to follow some steps that I gave you during the show. I'm so excited to explain you the mechanism in which way the brain actually manifests the physical reality. I'm going to go to the calls, and I'm going to talk to Kim. Hi, my lovely Kim. How are you, my dear?
Hey, Carmen, how are you?
Okay, excited about this topic. How are you, my love?
I'm good. I
Good.
was calling you on my lunch, and I just wanted to say hello. And so you know about this guy, this doctor friend of mine that was taking it very slow.
Right.
And he did text like you said, and he's actually in Mexico. I guess he's on vacation with some of his with his Notre Dame. What's that?
Yeah, I said yes, and
Oh, I'm sorry, I lost you there. And I was just it's been kind of up and down with the texting with us. It's been very inconsistent, and like I said, he said that he wasn't quite ready for anything, but he doesn't really stop. He doesn't really stop the texting, but he was extremely honest with me. So he just had asked me to send him a picture of my face, my beautiful face, and blah 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 blah. And I'm just kind of confused. Like, I mean, I know he's away in Mexico, but before that, it was very scarce. And like, I mean, is he ever going to come around, or do you think, like, I mean, he's holding on to me for something. I mean, does he have any intentions of eventually coming around? I really like him.
good. So make him come around. You have to participate somehow in working things out with him. And
well, I have.
He's willing to meet with you, and these are things that you need to do your part.
I do. I've asked him 2 or 3 times in the past month to hang out. He's told me no all 3 times. But so that's why I'm confused on. I've done my part, and I feel like, okay, why keep asking if he's going to keep saying no? And he reached out while he was in Mexico, which was very nice. You know, I mean, he's thinking of me on vacation. But with all that being said, I just feel like he wants more than a friendship, but I understand that he's not quite ready. But I was just wondering, do you see him actually ever coming around and us being like anything significant? Or is this...
I have a very positive feeling about this man. I always had a good feeling that he will be very interested in seeing you. And but I feel like at this point in time, it is up to you how you handle the relationship with him, and to make him, decide to see you and spend time together. And it can work very well. It has all the ingredients, all the chances of a good relationship.
Right. So I can only ask him. I don't want to keep asking when he keeps saying no. I feel like if he really wants to, he'll make that attempt.
Well, if he keeps on saying no, then forget about him. So it's like, I'm sorry to be so extreme. And either the man responds, and if he doesn't respond, then there's not too much you can do.
No, he does respond. He just says, like, I'm busy with my daughter. He's got like college kids, and he always seems to have. He's always unavailable when I ask him to hang out, but he'll be available at certain times when he can hang out. But I've done my part, and he's still holding on to me. Does he just want me as a friend, or he has more intentions eventually coming soon? I guess is really what I'm asking.
I should say yes. Let's see how it goes within another week or so. That's all I can tell. I don't have any other impressions on this man other than this should work. So let's see if it's working. And if it's working, it should work now. It should not work a year from now. This is supposed to happen now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, why did he text me just to see if I'm still available? Like to see if I'm still there with him? You know how some guys can do that.
That I cannot say for sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
let's see. All I can tell you today is
him.
that let's see how it goes. Continue to do your part, and if this man has interest in you, he will come around.
Yeah, well, I know that. I do know that. And he's holding on, and he's giving me signals, but they're kind of mixed to me. Like, that's why I'm asking you. Because I have a date tonight, but it's not like I'm waiting for him. I just happen to like him. You know, it's hard to really find something.
You know, if you have tonight, let's see, probably you meet another man, just be open. You're a free woman. You can be with who you want to be. So let's see what the other guy does. Just don't be desperate. Just allow it to unfold the way they kind of meant be.
Yeah, well, I definitely don't want to come off desperate by keep texting him and asking him to do things when he's really not. He doesn't want to hang out, but then he keeps calling. So it's just the mixed signals that's just driving me a little crazy.
I know, but hopefully this is gonna balance, and the man will make a decision. That's all I can tell you, Kim. Thank you so much for calling my show. Sorry,
Thank
I
you,
cannot
Bob.
be more precise. But all I know is that this seems to be working. Let's pray for that. I love you,
will.
Kim.
Thank you, Bob. Have a great
Bye,
weekend.
sweetheart. I'm gonna go to Julia. Hi, Julia. That's all I can tell you. Thank you so much for calling my show. Sorry, I cannot be more precise. Hi, Julia.
Hi. Hi, Carmen. How are you?
My beautiful friend. How are you, my love?
Thank you. I'm very well. You look great today, you know. I was
Really?
admiring you and the flower. Yes.
You're so sweet.
Yeah, I love that because this show gives me the opportunity to also see you. So it's amazing.
Oh, I love you, my beautiful. Okay, so
you know,
how can
I love your
help my
topic.
Julia today? How's everything with you?
Yeah, everything is fine with me. Thank you. I'm calling because I have a neighbor in the countryside. Telling them that you are my friend, that you make so good predictions. And is there a lady that is a mom? She has a son. She gave me the date of birth of his son. So she, as any mom, would like to know if her son would have, let's say, a wife in his life, if he will be with someone, because she's afraid that soon she will die and her son will be alone and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like any mom.
When is the son born? How old is the son?
Yeah. So he's born in October 28,
Okay.
1986.
Well, this is quite the year to find somebody, meaning from the fall of this year all the way to the fall of the next year. Her son will be in a relationship, and first of all, she's not going to die. Just tell her. I think, and the son will make her proud. He's still young, and he will have a wonderful wife, and he will have children. So no reason for her to be panicking and see things the wrong way, because the son will marry when the time is right, and it feels like from now on to the end of 2023 is the perfect time for her son to get married. If he didn't get married 6 years ago, this is the time to do it. So time-wise, that's what the concept of numerology that I believe in underlines when we can do things, when is the appropriate, the perfect timing to marry, to buy a house, to get a new job. So for him, this is the perfect time for family, because he's entering the year 6 around his birthday. So the year 6 for an entire year symbolizes family, marriage, children. So something he never had for a while is coming to him. So tell the mother to stay calm, to relax, and project only the good, and imagine and visualize the wedding for her son.
Okay, I'll do that. I know that you have such a good way to empower people.
See it in your mind.
Yeah. Okay, I'll transmit her this message. Thank you so much.
Okay, beautiful. I love you, my Julia.
I love you, Carmen. I love you. Bye-bye.
In my life. I love you, sweetheart. So I want to show you my last book. You probably know it, Committed, Finding Love and Loyalty Through the 7 Archetypes. You can find it on Amazon. Another book that I wrote, I think, 10 years ago, Holiness, talks exactly about what's happening in the world right now, how the only way for us to actually break through this era is to come together as one world. That's like holiness. I created a word. It's embracing the unity that can heal our world, because as we are so divided, the world falls apart. So my philosophy, and probably many of you think the same way like you do, is only if we finally let go of our anger against each other and come as a totality to survive the difficult period we are going through. The 11 principles, I speak about the principles of the universe that are way more powerful than the man-made laws. I speak about my first book, Everyday Karma. So I have a lot of books. A new one is coming. very soon. Continue to write and do my part, with my ideas to help you understand what's going on in your life and in your mind, and how to be healthy and happy and in control of everything. But one of the things you can do to be in control of everything is mastering your emotions. Very significant, because we are all experiencing negative emotion. It's impossible to be totally carefree and joyful every single day. Impossible. But it's not so much when you experience, it's not so much the negative emotion. It's how you handle them that's more important. So you say, well, we all have negative feelings, but how we handling them. So that's why I explain you today a little bit of the science of the brain in handling with emotion. And I also want you to know that the brain stores every emotion and sorts it out into groups of nerve cells. And a group tends to grow, and a group of nerve cells becomes bigger and bigger. So ideally it is to help the nerve cell group called love to grow, and instead of allowing the group cells called hate and anger and war to grow every day. So which one you want to grow? We don't have to be victim of what we feel. We don't have to be dragged down by every emotion and stuck within self-limited mental state. We can break free of the cycle of negative emotion and rewire the nerve cells in the brain. And the most efficient way to do it is stop the negativity, re-examine, and replace, sort of patterns of thinking and behavior in your brain. And that, you might say it's very difficult, and it is, because you have to break free of the cycle of negative emotion that have been wiring the nerve cell in the negative way. So the most efficient way to cut up a bad emotion is to stop that bad emotion when you start. When you feel becoming frustrated, when you feel angry, when you feel hate in your heart, stop it and employ the rational part of your brain. And you might find it effective to remind yourself that this emotion doesn't benefit you. Being hateful against someone or against the world or against the environment or even against your own self is gonna hurt you. So when you apply the rational side of mind, you actually acknowledge that you are hurting yourself. But reasoning through an emotion helps you block it before it gets out of hand. That's why we used to say, come to 100 before you take a gun and shoot somebody, because you actually employ the rational part of the brain to stop a negative emotion. You also should, and that's very significant, examine the way you feel. You're afraid that you're losing control, worried about something. You feel that the effects of a trauma are creeping in, but analyze the source of your emotion. Put them in a different perspective. So I want you to replace low emotion with higher emotion. So that's the reason and the purpose of my show today. So the moment you become aware of everything that's negative, detach from that, and replace a negative feeling with a positive, it can be done. I'm Dr. Carmen Harra on KM Radio 1490. Be well, and I will see you next Friday. Same place, same station.
You have been listening to Live Now with Dr. Carmen Harra, heard every Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time. And don't forget to check out the show's programmer podcast on the KMET Radio website.